Russia. Russia, or the Russian Federation, is a transcontinental country spanning Eastern Europe and Northern, Northern Asia. It is the largest country in the world, with its internationally. Let's start over. Russia, 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 Россия, Священная. Russia, or the Russian Federation, is a transcontinental country spanning Eastern Europe and Northern Asia. Is my tongue short? It is the largest country in the world, with its internationally recognized territory covering 17,098,246 square kilometers and encompassing 1/8 of Earth's inhabitable landmass. Wow. Russia extends across 11 time zones and shares land boundaries with 14 countries. It is the world's 9th most populous country and Europe's most populous country. With a population of over 147 million people. The country's capital and largest city is Moscow. St. Petersburg is Russia's cultural center and second largest city. Other major urban areas include Novosibirsk, Yekaterinburg, Nizhny Novgorod, and Kazan. The East Slavs emerged as a recognizable group in Europe between the 3rd and 8th century CE. The first East Slavic state, Kievan Rus, arose in the 9th century, and in 988 it adopted Orthodox Christianity from the Byzantine Empire. Rus ultimately disintegrated with the Grand Duchy of Moscow, growing to become the Tsardom of Russia. By the early 18th century, Russia had vastly expanded through conquest, annexation, and the efforts of Russian explorers, developing into the Russian Empire, which remains the 3rd largest empire in history. However, with the Russian Revolution in 1917, Russia's monarchic rule was abolished and replaced by the Russian SFSR, the world's first constitutionally socialist state. Following the Russian Civil War, the Russian SFSR established the Soviet Union with 3 other Soviet republics, within which it was the largest and principal constituent. At the expense of millions of lives, the Soviet Union underwent rapid industrialization in the 1930s and later played a decisive role for the Allies of World War II by leading large-scale efforts on the Eastern Front. With the onset of the Cold War, it competed with the United States for global ideological influence. The Soviet era of the 20th century saw some of the most significant Russian technological achievements, including the first human-made satellite and the first human expedition into outer space. Incredible. In 1991, the Russian SFSR emerged from the dissolution of the Soviet Union as the independent Russian Federation. A new constitution was adopted, and Russia has since been governed as a federal, semi-presidential republic. Since the turn of the century, Russia's political system has been dominated by Vladimir Putin, under whom the country has experienced democratic backsliding and a shift toward authoritarianism. Russia has been involved militarily in a number of post-Soviet conflicts, which has included the internationally unrecognized annexations of Crimea in 2014 from neighboring Ukraine and 4 other regions in 2022 during an ongoing invasion. International rankings of Russia place it low in measurements of human rights and freedom of the press. The country also has high levels of perceived corruption. Hmm. Ranked worldwide, the Russian economy. Oh my gosh, why is this popping up all the time? Ranked worldwide, the Russian economy stands at the ninth largest by nominal GDP and the sixth largest by GDP. Its mineral and energy sources are the world's largest, and its figures for all oil production and natural gas production rank high globally. Russia possesses the largest stockpile of nuclear weapons and has the fifth highest military expenditure. The country is a permanent member of the United Nations Security Council, a member state of the G20, the SCO, BRICS, the APEC, the OSCE, and the WTO, and is the leading member state of the CIS, the CSTO, and the EAEU. Russia is home to 30 UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Etymology. Etymology. What is etymology? The name Russia comes from a medieval Latin name for Rus, a medieval state populated primarily by the East Slavs. In modern historiography, this state is usually denoted as Kievan Rus after its capital city. The name Rus itself comes from the early medieval Rus people, who were originally a group of Norse merchants and warriors who relocated from across the Baltic Sea and first settled in the northern region of Novgorod, and later founded a state centered on Kiev. Another medieval Latin name for Rus was Ruthenia. In Russian, the current name of the country, Россия, comes from the Byzantine Greek name for Rus, Rossiya, spelled Rossiya in modern Greek. It came into use in the 15th century, though the country was still often referred to by its inhabitants as Rus, or the Russian land until the end of the 17th century. There are two words in Russian which translate to Russians in English: Ruskiye, which refers to ethnic Russians, and Россияне, which refers to Russian citizens regardless of ethnicity. Россия.